Hi, I'm Ellen from the Spellbound Bead Company, and I'm going to show you how to make this really simple two-stranded elasticated bracelet. You can either make it in a cream and duck egg blue colourway or a gold and midnight blue colourway. All you need to make this bracelet are some size 8 seed beads. In this case I've used the cream puff mix, which is a nice mix of creams, silvers and whites in there. And you need some candy beads. In this case I've used some oval candy beads. They have got 2 holes through them, which gives you the two-stranded look for your bracelet. You can find candy beads come in rounds as well, those work perfectly well too. But in this case I'm using the duck egg blue. So all you need to do is you need 2 lengths of elastic. So I'm just using a clear elastic for commonly used in bracelet making, and I'm going to pop on the end. I'm just going to put on the end a bead stopper, just so that when I'm threading them on, if I need to move it, they're not going to slide off the end. And then I'm going to do the same thing on my second length. So I'm just popping it on about an inch or so, inch and a half from the end. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to thread on my candy bead to start off with. As I said, you just thread it through first hole, and then taking my second strand, pop it through the second hole of my candy bead. And then for my first strand, I'm just going to take hold of the end of my elastic and just gently pick up 10 of my seed beads just with the end of the elastic. 1, 2, so I did 10 onto the one side, and then I'm going to swap over onto the other strand of elastic and thread on 10 more. So once you've got 10 onto each strand, you can see they should match in length. Sometimes the seed beads, especially if you're using a mix, they can be slightly different sizes. I wouldn't worry about it too much because it is just going to stretch on and off your wrist anyway, so it's not going to matter a great deal if there's a tiny difference in length. So then slide on your candy bead. Make sure that you're putting it on the right way. If there is a flat side of your candy bead and a domed side, so you make sure that you're putting them all on the same way. Can't see the hole from this direction. There we go. Thread it on. So there you can see I've got 1 repeat, and I'm starting my second one. So all I'm going to keep doing is just keep adding on candy bead and then 2 rows of 10. And you just keep doing that until you reach 1 section before your desired length, is what we're aiming for. So obviously everybody likes their bracelets different lengths. Some people like them tight to their wrist, some people like them nice and loose. So you're probably aiming between sort of either 6 or 7 candy beads, I would say. So just repeat adding your 10 seed beads until you've just have 1 section remaining. So I've threaded on 5 repeats of my bracelet, and then for the 6th repeat I'm just going to put the seed beads just on the top row, top length of the elastic for these ones, and then I'm just going to pop a bead stopper on the end there So I've just got the 10 on the end. And because when I tie the knots in this bracelet, I want to tie each strand of elastic separately. So I want to offset the knots from each other so they're not sitting right next to each other. So my knot is going to go here on the top row, but I want to put, so I'm going to take the bead stopper off the beginning of the bottom strand, and I'm going to thread on 10 more seed beads onto that beginning. Can't catch that one. Like so. Try and get these seed beads to cooperate. One more. Like that. So when I lie it out again, you can see the top strand of elastic has got the seed beads on this end, and the bottom strand has got the seed beads on this end. Okay, so then I'm going to, as I've got the bead stoppers on the top end already, I'm going to tie this bottom one first. So all we need to do is making sure there's no twists in your bracelet. Slide all your beads up so there's no gapping. And then just gently bring the two ends together, and I'm going to tie a reef knot. So just gently, like right over left and then left over right, like so. Don't put it all the way tight yet, because next thing I'm going to take some nail varnish and I'm just going to paint all the way through the centre of that knot. Coat it nice, coat the elastic nicely, and then just pull it tight, making sure that the knot goes between the last seed bead and your candy bead. And then I'm going to flip my bracelet over and take the bead stoppers off. And again, do the same thing, just gently pull the elastic, tie myself a knot. Coat the nail varnish all the way through the centre of the knot. Pull it tight. And you can see that the two knots are offset from one another. And there you've got a nice, so your bracelet's got a nice round shape. And then leave your nail varnish to dry for a couple of hours, then trim your ends down so they're nice and short, and it shouldn't come undone.